Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Historical Humans Reacts. And on today's episode, we are going to be talking about the restoration of rare medieval document detailing Asian travels of one Marco Polo and his expedition. Ooh.
Yep, it's very fun. So Marco Polo was a
Here.
Merchant who famously traveled to China and back to Europe, setting out along the Silk Road, and his travels became extensively documented because upon his return to Venice, he was thrown in jail because people didn't remember who he was. And during that time, he told a monk everything that had happened to him as a means of proving his innocence, and the monk just wrote it all down.
You know, if there's one thing medieval monks were really good at, it was learning how to
Yeah,
write.
yeah, yeah. Who would have thought society would need literacy?
It's overrated. We just need monks again.
Yeah. So this document, which is being restored by the University of Warwick's Venice Center, uh, is a travel account of six Venetian nobles with Marco Polo who are currently in this document in the Sultanate of Delhi circa 1338. So they are in India trying to make some exchanges of various goods. The document mentions that they sold a clock and a fountain for 200,000 silver coins.
Wow. And then the Venetians then turned around and used those to buy pearls and other Asian luxury goods.
Yeah, welcome. Well, welcome to the trade. Europe manufactures things, sends it all the way down to India, China, wherever it is, they'll get the best price for it, and then they just start bringing back all the natural resources from those countries. Oh wait, I'm beginning to see how things get really bad later on.
You know, it's kind of interesting to me just thinking about this and thinking about how long ago it was, because this map is almost 700 years old. And,
Yep.
or not map, this travel document is almost 700 years old. And that time they were traveling hundreds and thousands of miles to oversee to do these trades, to go to different parts of the world, in a world where globalism isn't exactly a thing. This is like really a burgeoning, blazing new thing. I mean, the Silk Road exists, but that takes so long for goods to get back and forth, and it just to imagine the type of exposure and the type of ordeal that they're going through is kind of cool, kind of interesting. It's cool to see an insight as to what they have and to see
Yeah.
what exactly happened, including the court case in which some of the merchants that went to Delhi and the relatives of one of them who died in Asia.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, there was it appears to have been a court case surrounding the one who died, namely, what do we get to do with the body? Which is of course very fun. Indeed, yeah. There is no such thing as a flyover state in this time period, so you really get to know everyone you are traveling with and everyone you are traveling through.
And
Um,
this is a multi-year endeavor usually.
yeah, these are decade-long endeavors typically. Um, up to 10 years at least. One of the interesting things about this document, why it is in such need for restoration, why it is coming to light for restoration now, is because 70 years ago, it got lost. It was misplaced and folded in the filings of the Procurators of St. Mark, which is an old office in Venice that was the second to the Doge of Venice. So basically, think the equivalent of the president and the president's cabinet kind of deal. This would be the presidential cabinet. Uh, and it was just stuck there in a like manila envelope for 70 years. And because of that, it is deteriorated because it's a 700-year-old document that's just in a filing cabinet in a city that regularly floods.
Yeah, it's It's not the best situation, but they do have a conservator that was hired at the University of Warwick in collaboration with other partners are committed to restoring the preservation, and that it is signified. And they hired a professional restorer who will slowly stretch the parchment, putting it in tension, and then mend the lacerations, and then finally clean and stabilize the parchment. And this will be conducted at the Venetian State Archives, which more than likely has the necessary facilities to accomplish this. They just need someone skilled to do it, which sounds like they have. And it's kind of cool because they already have the full transcript of the document, but it's only been partially analyzed. And that court case was over their inheritance and the return of the others, who was a close relative of Marco. And all the others were Polo's neighbors, and they're now investigating their activities in Venice and Asia before and after the trip to China and Delhi.
Yeah, so it is a very key document because it places him in a specific location at a specific time with a very unique problem. Which, if there's any records at all in Delhi, which it's Delhi, there are records. You can probably find the corresponding documents from the Sultanate for who the hell is this foreigner and why are they arguing over money?
It is kind of interesting, and you might think, how did they lose a 700-year-old document? But in reality, a lot of museums and a lot of institutions have way too many items to the point where things do unfortunately get lost. I mean, I know we've covered in this same series, but in previous videos, about how the British Museum was robbed of 2,000 something artifacts and nobody noticed. It happens a lot where things go under the radar, or maybe were brought in at a time before digitization, where record keeping depended if you wrote it down or not, and not if you remembered. And a lot of institutions here in the U.S. have a lot of, I like to refer to them as dinosaurs themselves, who have a lot of institutional knowledge that they don't like to record.
Yeah, and also just one of the things too is like, this isn't even in a museum. This was in a government office.
Well, it's a government document. What do you mean?
Yeah, it's a government. Yeah, it was a document filed with the Venetian government 700 years ago. It's been in the government office ever since. It got separated from its original grouping that got moved to better preservation and historical segments, and just sort of got stuck in the office. Now we found it.
And now proper attention and restoration efforts are being focused on it, which is a great improvement.
Yeah, it's a very fun little story. It is a win, and it is a comedy of errors at the same time.
And that's a great point for us to wrap up. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.